No inducements. Wang Hongjia's face darkened. Am I a black market entity? Coercion and inducements? Wait a moment. Li Yong glanced at Lu Saran, who was eavesdropping nearby, and whispered, should we address this matter first? The group turned their gaze towards Lu Saran. Upon seeing her, they all felt a headache coming on. A reporter, an interviewer. Moreover, she was from a central media outlet. Major General Chu, Li Yong, and Wang Jiang had all encountered this exceptionally beautiful girl from central media before. Lu Saran, noticing the attention directed at her, smiled and approached Elder Qin, sweetly calling out, Grandpa. Grandpa? The group responded in unison. Pei Su was taken aback. Elder Qin chuckled and introduced her. This is the granddaughter of an old comrade from my days in the art troupe. Everyone gasped. This city truly harbors hidden talents. Even a reporter possesses such a notable background. Since they were acquainted, there was no need for caution. Major General Chu chuckled and turned back to focus on Pei Su. Little Pei Su, consider joining the People's Defense. It is far more prestigious than anything else. When you tell your family you've gone to the People's Defense, who wouldn't regard you highly? Moreover, confidentiality is easily maintained. Those unaware will think you are simply an officer attending for training. And all it takes is for the informed to sign a confidentiality agreement. Your future will be quite comfortable. Major General Chu said this earnestly. Pei Su pondered for a moment and asked, which holds a higher status, the People's Defense or Lunka University? Major General Chu hesitated for a moment, but replied, in name. The People's Defense is a Project 2110 institution, the military's 985 university. In contrast, Lunka University is regarded as a 985 university in a societal context. So in terms of societal ranking, Lunka University is slightly higher. Upon hearing this, Pei Su resolutely declined, then I will not go. Major General Chu felt somewhat disheartened. After so long in the field, he had never encountered such a peculiar child. After all, it was the People's Defense. Anyone in the military would be thrilled at the prospect of studying there, potentially staying awake with joy for 3 days and nights. Do you have any other requests? Feel free to voice them. Major General Chu insisted. Pei Su appeared contemplative. At the People's Defense, can one engage in romantic relationships? Major General Chu replied without hesitation. Absolutely not. That is strictly prohibited. Are you joking? Do you think the People's Defense is an ordinary university? It is a place for officers to study. Such personal affairs have no place there. Then I won't go, Pei Su declared decisively. Everyone was taken aback. Major General Chu could no longer hold his frustration. Are you heading to university solely to pursue romance? Pei Su nodded earnestly. You appear to be in your 40s. You must be married by now, right? Major General Chu proudly nodded. Of course. My wife and I hit it off and married right after graduation. Pei Su shrugged. See, you two experienced romance in university. You can't expect me to go to the People's Defense and become a monk. Major General Chu was left speechless. Wang Hongjia immediately stepped forward. Step aside. Let me handle this. He directly presented Pei Su with an astonishing offer. At Harbin Institute, free romantic relationships are permitted. This is a victory. Harbin Institute wins. This is a second victory. Harbin Institute wins again. Lu Saran stood frozen in place. Is this even a condition? I won't go, Pei Su retorted, pouting. Harbin Institute's prestige is not as high as Lunka University, nor is its reputation as resounding. Wang Hongjia looked dejected. Once, Harbin Institute was the leader in national defense, and they had their own glorious past. Li Yong struggled to suppress his laughter, patting Wang Hongjia on the shoulder. Professor Wang, don't be too disheartened. Wang Hongjia, however, remained somewhat unconvinced. Come to Harbin Institute, and I will provide you with the best academic resources. I can also offer substantial financial support. I have mentored countless doctoral students, and they have all thrived in various fields. Joining us would be beneficial for your future. Pei Su shook her head. I won't go. Wang Hongjia, in despair, asked why not. Pei Su replied, the climate there is too cold. I cannot adapt. Wang Hongjia departed in disappointment. Pei Su then turned to Elder Qin, smiling. Old man, I wish to find a reason to attend Lunka University. Upon hearing this, Elder Qin burst into hearty laughter. The genius class at Lunka University is a realm without restrictions. This year's cohort comprises madmen, prodigies, and exceptional individuals. You will never feel isolated there. Rather, vibrant youthful minds will resonate all around you. You will encounter one elite after another. 20 years, 30 years, 50 years down the line, each of you will grow into towering figures in your respective fields. Go forth, child. When a person's intellectual realm ascends too high, they yearn profoundly for a companion who can match their thoughts. As long as such a person exists, they will journey further. The crowd fell into deep contemplation. Indeed, the twilight years of a genius are often solitary. When one's thoughts reach a sufficiently elevated plane, any choice made feels akin to walking on a tightrope. In moments when no one can offer assistance, uncertainty looms over whether one's decisions are correct or if they can steadfastly tread that path. Einstein's later years were marked by solitude. The creator of the light quantum hypothesis was once so revered in his youth, yet in his twilight, he found himself so isolated that he desired to design an experiment to overturn his own findings. Ultimately, Einstein failed and passed away in solitude. The lonely hero often carries a sense of tragic grandeur. Creating an environment where geniuses can gather is the most compassionate solution for them. Until this moment, the crowd fell silent, each sensing that the genius class at Lonka University was indeed the most suitable place for Pei Su, not for any other reason, but simply because it harbored unique talents and extraordinary thoughts. Chapter 15. 500 points for Lonka University must be a typo. I am willing to attend Lonka University, Pei Su declared, his eyes gleaming as he turned to Elder Qin. I need to join the design team for the 8th generation fighter and become the lead designer. The 8th generation fighter is magnificent. While composing an essay, as he meticulously recorded the myriad data pertaining to the 8th generation fighter, it felt as though a dormant gene within him had awakened. It seemed destined that he was meant to create astonishingly grand artifacts in his lifetime. Elder Qin chuckled upon hearing this. Child, you are the originator of the 8th generation fighter concept. If I do not allow you into the design team, who else should I let in? However, we will need time to explore various technologies. By the time you complete your first semester, this project should be ready to take off. As he spoke, Elder Qin handed Pei Su a golden medal. This medal, round and square, resembled ancient coins and royal gold coins, radiating a dazzling brilliance. Inscribed upon the medal were 2 characters, Lonkai, an abbreviation for the genius class at Lonka University. Pei Su took the medal and pinned it to his chest. The choice was clear. Pei Su decided to join Lonka University. On one hand, Lonka University had great prestige. On the other, its direct supervisor happened to be the Lonka Institute, where his uncle served as an academician. Harbin Institute of Technology, located in the frigid northeast, was unsuitable for him. The atmosphere at the People's Defense was serious, filled with military officers. After much contemplation, he concluded that Lonka University was the best choice. Elder Qin, I shall take my leave with others, Uncle Li Yong said to Elder Qin. Elder Qin nodded in acknowledgement. On the way back to the Lonka Institute, Pei Su's phone incessantly chimed. He took it out to discover a flurry of messages in the family group chat. A loving family father. Pei Su, how did the college entrance examination go? Do you feel it went well? Mother, Li Yong, elder brother, how is it? Have you picked up the child? Pei Su gazed at this scene, feeling a wave of sentiment. His father, Pei Zhenghua, worked in the trade department of a state-owned enterprise and was currently negotiating matters in Korea, frequently on business trips. His mother, Lin Mingyi, was also busy with her business in another city, often away from home. Yet, both remained deeply concerned about Pei Su's studies. We've picked up the child, Li Yong said while driving, prompting Pei Su to use voice input on his phone. You won't believe the earth-shattering feat this child has accomplished. Upon hearing this, the lurking members of the family group chat emerged. Su Zhihui, what happened? Did my little brother score 700 points? Zhao Lin, uncle, stop teasing us. Just tell us. As these two chimed in, the group chat erupted with excitement. Li Yong chuckled heartily. Little Pei is going to Lonka University. You two are not far from Lonka University. Please look after him. Lonka University? When these 3 words were mentioned, the group fell silent for a moment before bursting forth with jubilation. Mother Lin Mingyi sent 10 red envelopes in rapid succession, causing the screen to buzz with excitement. Su Zhihui, what great news. How many points do you think he could score? Pei Su pondered for a moment and quietly typed a line in the public chat. If the other subjects don't go awry, the score should be close to 500. 500 points? At the Kyoto laboratory, a moment of disbelief flickered across Su Zhihui's face. She stared at the 3 words on her phone screen, stunned. Closing her eyes, she turned her phone over to cover the screen. Moments later, she opened her eyes and unlocked her phone, scrutinizing the 3 words once more. 500 points. Su Zhihui contemplated. Her eyes were not faulty, so where was the problem? 500 points to get into Lonka University? This is simply a dream. 500 points can't even secure admission to North Sports University. At most, it could land a spot at a first-tier school. But why is Uncle so certain that Pei Su can get into Lonka University? Su Zhihui fell into deep thought. Surely there must be a typographical error? I think it must genuinely be a mistake, right? The cutoff score for Lonka University has never been this low. It must have been a miscommunication on the phone input. Su Zhihui dismissed the matter. After all, her cousin getting into such a prestigious university was worth celebrating. With this in mind, Su Zhihui also sent out a few red envelopes in the group. Meanwhile, Zhao Lin followed suit, sending a few red envelopes as well. The group chat was soon filled with joy. Upon returning to Lonka University, Pei Su settled into the spacious 3-bedroom apartment arranged by his uncle. Once in his room, he began to contemplate the golden opportunity before him. Must elevate to the next level, military-industrial system? After some exploration, Pei Su began to ponder a significant matter. The pinnacle of current fighter technology had reached the concept of the 7th generation. Thus, he had obtained the concept of the 8th generation fighter. However, now that the concept of the 8th generation fighter had emerged, he had not directly leaped to acquire the concept of the 9th generation fighter. Upon reflection, this seemed reasonable. If he could leap from one concept to another, within 2 years, he might be battling against an unknown extraterrestrial civilization. Moreover, there was another crucial detail that Pei Su needed to be aware of. He seemed to require contact with a specific medium to trigger the system. Much like when he was at the Lonka Institute and encountered that blackboard detailing the Academician's explorations of the 7th-generation fighter, which had activated the system and granted him the concept of the 8th generation. Thus, the golden opportunity currently presented itself with 2 layers of access. First, Pei Su must personally or indirectly engage with some important medium to trigger the system and attain higher military technology. Second, he could not simply leapfrog to the next level. With these thoughts in mind, Pei Su hesitated no longer. He promptly opened his door and made his way to the Lonka University library, recalling the knowledge he needed to acquire. In the library of Lonka University, one can find a plethora of the latest books and materials. Perhaps, it is a treasure trove of diverse media. Pei Su has procured over a dozen books, including, but not limited to, Exploration and Theory of the 5th-generation main battle tank, the exploratory process of 4th-generation defensive military vehicles, and Intelligent Life, Where is Humanity's Next Evolution? Among these, 6 pertain to military technology and 6 to life sciences. Pei Su first opened Intelligent Life, Where is Humanity's Next Evolution? Yet, after an entire afternoon of reading, he found no activation of the system. It seems that the military system cannot exploit this loophole, he mused to himself, feeling a sense of longing to see if he could indeed trigger a bug within the system. After all, transcending the limitations of the physical form to achieve mechanical ascension would be quite splendid. However, it was clear that the system, being of a military nature, could only interact with military-related media to activate its functions. Thus, Pei Su turned to the next volume, the exploratory process of 4th-generation defensive military vehicles. Media detected. The current pinnacle of technology is the 4th-generation defensive military vehicle, system activated. Media, 1. Upon completion of media percentage. Acquire technology for the 5th-generation defensive military vehicle, miniaturized rocket engine technology for military vehicles, and modular technology for the 5th-generation infantry fighting vehicle. Chapter 16. What does it mean for Pei Su to independently devise the 8th-generation aircraft? Time flew by. On June 25th, in the Lonka University library, Pei Su was engrossed in his reading. The media percentage had climbed to 99. He was nearing the completion of the book. At that moment, his phone rang. Hello? Where are you? Today is the day for checking results. Also, the admission notice has been sent to me. It dawned on Pei Su that today was indeed the day for checking results. He logged into the website using the library's computer, entering his examination admission number and candidate ID. Soon, the results appeared before him. As he had anticipated, the total score was 499. 5 points, just shy of 500. This year, the cutoff for Beihang University had reached 520 points. Clearly, if he were to rely solely on conventional channels, Pei Su would only be able to enroll in a Tier 1 or Tier 2 institution. He captured a screenshot of his results and sent it to the family group chat. Almost immediately, the previously lively family chat fell into silence. 1 second passed, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Ding. A new message appeared. Su Zhihui, what? Is it really 500 points? In the Kyoto laboratory, Su Zhihui stared intently at her phone, momentarily stunned. Why? Did I misread it? After some contemplation, she realized there was no mistake. Chinese language score, 705 points? What kind of absurd score is that? Su Zhihui remained in a daze for quite some time, suddenly feeling a twinge of concern for Pei Su, worrying he might succumb to despair. After all, the cutoff for Lonka University was exceedingly high this year. Thinking this, she hurriedly typed in the group, Little brother, do not despair, all roads lead to Rome. And every path taken can yield great talents. Zhao Lin quickly followed suit, typing, Indeed, think of your third brother. Although his exam results were poor, he is now serving in the military, contributing to the nation and society. Pei Su, I can enroll at Lonka University. Why would I follow my third brother into the military? The third brother in question was the child of Li Yong's third sister, who had performed poorly on the college entrance examination and subsequently enlisted in the military. He was now in his second phase of service. Su Zhihui, but how can you get into Lonka University with 500 points? Zhao Lin. Yes, you can't get into Lonka University with 500 points. Even Beihang University is out of reach. Li Yong, stop arguing. The admission notice is here, look. Li Yong. Image, as Li Yong sent the image. Silence enveloped the group for an extended period. After a considerable pause, Su Zhihui tentatively reached out to Li Yong in private. Uncle, did you pull strings for him? Li Yong. Su Zhihui found it hard to fathom how Pei Su could gain admission with a score of 500, whether through the Western Development Program or various policies. It was evident that there was no opportunity for admission with such a score to a top-tier institution. If such a possibility existed, it would surely be due to Li Yong's status as an academician, leveraging connections to secure Pei Su's admission. But this was unacceptable. Su Zhihui could not allow such an event to transpire. After all, given the current state of online discourse, even an academician would face severe repercussions for utilizing such connections. With this thought in mind, Su Zhihui quickly admonished her uncle. Uncle, please do not engage in such practices. You are seasoned. But the rapid evolution of the internet means that individuals of your sensitive status must tread carefully. Even the slightest misstep could be magnified. Li Yong, when have I ever pulled strings? This admission notice was earned by Young Pei himself. How is it my doing? Su Zhihui gritted her teeth. Realizing that her approach was ineffective, she created a small group and brought Zhao Lin in as well, continuing her persuasion of Li Yong. Uncle, please stop joking. There are no outsiders here. The key point is, you are an academician. You are my mentor. By doing this, you are being irresponsible towards both yourself and Pei Su. If my little brother lacks the capability, forcing him into such a prestigious university would only harm him. He is only 17, and his values are just beginning to form. You cannot impose such chaotic notions upon him. Zhao Lin wholeheartedly agreed. Yes, uncle. Li Yong was left utterly bewildered. When have I arranged anything for him? Am I unaware of the gravity of my position in doing such a thing? His score and admission notice are entirely his own merit and have little to do with me. Su Zhihui remained unconvinced. Uncle, please do not say this to your own family. Zhao Lin. Indeed, uncle, who with a score of 500 could get into Lonka University? Su Zhihui initiated a video call. Her expression grave. To be honest, uncle, I have been closely monitoring my little brother's scores. He is capable of being admitted to a 211 university. But his performance this time was subpar. I understand that you care for him the most, but this cannot be the way forward. If you proceed like this, what will become of me and Zhao? What will become of Pei Su? What will become of yourself? As Su Zhihui articulated her thoughts with fervor, she firmly asserted, if my little brother lacks the ability, forcing him into such an arrangement will only lead to detrimental consequences. In both matters of academic integrity and professional considerations for her uncle, Su Zhihui felt compelled to address this issue. Upon hearing her words, Li Yong became enraged. Damn, this has nothing to do with me. Why do you all think it is connected to me? Pei Su's admission with 500 points is due to special circumstances and was reported. It has nothing to do with me. The entire reporting process is confidential. You two should stop prying. Su Zhihui fell silent. Zhao Lin also ceased speaking. However, observing their expressions, Li Yong's heart sank. He realized they still did not believe him. After all, both were elites in their respective fields, inherently driven and competitive. If this topic were to remain unresolved, Pei Su would likely be perceived as a beneficiary of connections in their eyes. With this thought, Li Yong clenched his teeth. I implore you, do not disclose what I have shared with you to the outside world. If this matter were to be leaked, the consequences would be 100-fold more severe than if I were to publicly engage in clandestine operations. Do you understand? Li Yong's expression was gravely serious. Su Zhihui and Zhao Lin exchanged glances during the video call, sensing the gravity of the situation. Their uncle was not typically one to engage in deceitful practices. As their mentor and an academician at the Lonka Institute, Li Yong had always been perceived as humorous and steadfast in his principles. To suggest that he had manipulated the admissions process for Pei Su seemed implausible. The two remained silent, intently listening to Li Yong's subsequent revelations. What, uncle? Did you just say that my 17-year-old brother, through his own ingenuity, has devised a comprehensive concept for the 8th-generation aircraft? Are you implying that my underage brother, mere days before the college entrance examination, penned the detailed specifications for the 8th-generation aircraft in his Chinese exam? Are you suggesting that my brother, with his average grade sufficient only for a 211 university, independently discovered the 8th-generation aircraft's parameters in less than a week, without any assistance, and guided your institute in determining the trajectory for the 7th-generation aircraft? What do you mean by saying that following my brother's scheme would expedite the research for both the 7th and 8th-generation aircraft? How could it be that my brother inspired you and 7 aerospace experts at the Lonka Institute? Are you stating that, based on the concept and parameters of the 8th-generation aircraft, he has been exceptionally admitted into the newly established genius class at Lonka University? Upon learning the truth, the two expressed disbelief more times than they had in their entire lives. Chapter 17. Constructing the 8th-generation aircraft? At this moment, they found themselves enveloped in a prolonged silence. Su Zhihui and Zhao Lin could not fathom the unfolding of events. How could it be that my cousin, whose usual academic performance only qualifies him for a 211 university, independently researched the intricate concepts and specifications for the 8th-generation aircraft and documented them in a Chinese composition? The surreal nature of this revelation struck them profoundly, akin to discovering that a destitute relative is, in fact, a figure akin to Bill Gates. An indescribable shock filled their minds. How could this be possible? Su Zhihui could not restrain herself from asking. Without resources, manpower, or financial support, how could my brother conceive such ideas? Li Yong chuckled at her inquiry. Who knows? Nevertheless, this is indeed the situation. The 8th-generation aircraft project has now been officially initiated, entering the phase of exploration and research. This pertains to the most advanced technology our nation has ever seen. You must not leak this information. If it were to be disclosed, not only would you face severe repercussions, but I would also be subjected to harsh penalties. At this point, Li Yong grew concerned that his niece and nephew might inadvertently reveal the information. Thus, he added, for the time being, This entire matter has been classified as top secret. It is imperative that no one discloses any information regarding this issue through any means. Top secret. Upon hearing this, Su Zhihui felt an unexplainable shock within her. There are 3 levels of confidentiality: secret, confidential, and top secret. Having worked in the Kyoto Research Group for so long, she had encountered numerous secret-level events and quite a few confidential ones, but never anything of top secret status. What constitutes top secret? It pertains to matters of significant national importance. A simple example would be the examination papers for the college entrance examination, which are among the most easily recognized top secret materials. Yet, throughout her extensive career, she had never encountered what could be classified as top secret events. In the Central Media newsroom, Lu Saran organized the information at hand. Before her stood a blackboard adorned with a large photo of Pei Su. Sister Lu, a nearby photographer inquired, should we suppress this report or release it? Lu Saran rolled her eyes in response. Are you foolish? This entire matter has already been classified as top secret. Even the information about this young individual falls under the same level of confidentiality. According to regulations, top secret information must be safeguarded for at least 50 years. The 8th generation aircraft pertains to the latest national technology, and any misstep could bear catastrophic consequences. It is best if this report simply vanishes. With a calm demeanor, Lu Saran opened her computer, discarding all recorded files and collected materials into the recycle bin. Then, she clicked delete. Some reports can be forcefully published through gray areas. But others, if any information were to be leaked, could lead to disaster. Lu Saran recalled a colleague who had been sentenced to 3 years in prison for failing to adhere to regulations regarding a merely secret-level report. As for the 8th generation aircraft, should such information be disclosed by a journalist, it could very well lead to a minimum 10-year sentence, with the possibility of the death penalty at the upper limit. Pei Su, the genius class at Lonka University? Lu Saran narrowed her eyes. Neither Pei Su nor the 8th generation aircraft could be reported on. However, surely the genius class could be mentioned? Director, I would like to request permission to conduct some research at Lonka University. At the Lonka Institute Library, in a tranquil space, Pei Su was engrossed in reading. As he gradually approached the end of the book, the progress bar of the medium continued to advance. Finally, when the medium reached 100, the military-grade system was triggered. He acquired technologies related to 5th-generation defensive military vehicles, miniaturized rocket engine technologies, and modular technologies for 5th-generation infantry fighting vehicles. Upon absorbing the newly acquired knowledge, Pei Su exhaled deeply. The start of the academic year at Lonka University is in the golden month of September. Yet it is only the end of June now. He has 2 months left. His gaze slowly fell upon the title Explorations and Theories of 5th-Generation Main Battle Tanks. Pei Su gently opened the book. Contact with the medium detected. Current leading technology pertains to 5th-Generation Main Battle Tank technology, triggering the system. Medium 1. Upon completion of medium percentage, technologies for the 6th-Generation Main Battle Tank engine, automation and intelligence technologies for the 6th-Generation Main Battle Tank, and collaborative AI technologies for infantry fighting vehicles will be acquired. Alright, let us begin. Reading is not Pei Su's forte, but he excels at learning about topics that pique his interest. He currently possesses knowledge of these technologies, but lacks the foundational knowledge to support them. Continuous study and research are necessary for him to independently construct the 8th generation aircraft of his dreams. Knowledge in every field possesses interconnections. Just as the 6th generation main battle tank and the 8th generation aircraft will evolve towards AI technology, allowing AI to control them and unleash their utmost potential. 2 months and 60 days of diligent practice. The 8th generation aircraft shall undoubtedly be mine. That night, Pei Su dreamt of a silver-white, exquisite fighter jet ascending gracefully. Its takeoff method differed from that of other aircraft. It was neither a helicopter's vertical liftoff nor a fighter jet's runway acceleration. Instead, it required a rotational acceleration through a mechanism akin to a particle accelerator, utilizing the formidable centripetal force generated by its 150-ton weight to soar into the sky with minimal consumption. The built-in gravity system allows pilots to endure a rotation speed of 3 revolutions per second with utter tranquility. The AI technology will engage at the peak of the aircraft's rotational speed, flawlessly controlling the plane as it soars towards the coordinates of space at an initial velocity of up to 10 Mach. When a beautiful silver light emerges from the depths of the dark cosmos, it embodies everything Pei Su yearns for, the 8th generation aircraft. It is his muse and his David. Upon awakening, Pei Su is overcome by a surge of urgency. He longs to witness the birth of the 8th generation aircraft, even if it is merely a model. A scale representation of just over a meter tall. That would suffice. He must earn money. Suddenly, a thought strikes him. He will earn money and then craft the 8th generation aircraft himself. Even a miniature version, as long as it is fully functional, would still be the 8th generation aircraft. He can hardly contain his excitement. That beautiful silver silhouette, akin to a splash of color in a colorless world, must carry epic-making significance in the boundless, frigid expanse of space. Earn money, then build the aircraft. Pei Su is suddenly resolute. Chapter 18, Modifying Cars, Earning Money, Crafting the 8th Generation Aircraft Lonka Institute. In the office. What nonsense is this? Li Yong gazes at Pei Su, his entire being jolted to attention. 3 million? You dare to ask me for 3 million? What do you intend to do with that? At 11 o'clock in the morning, Pei Su knocks on Li Yong's office door to explain his need for funds. Initially, Li Yong thought Pei Su was merely short on pocket money and was about to offer him 50 or 100 yuan. But Pei Su boldly states he requires 3 million. 3 million? You are asking me for 3 million? Li Yong declares with righteous indignation. I have been engaged in scientific research for many years, and I have never had a balance of 3 million in my account. It is not that my superiors do not provide me with funds. Rather, I have never requested large amounts. Simply put, the money given to me would be of no use. Pei Su scoffs. Isn't it still a matter of lacking funds? Li Yong coughs. The fact remains. In truth, most academicians are quite wealthy. What is an academician? It is the pinnacle of the academic world. Professors at universities can easily earn millions. For an academician to make money is exceedingly simple. They need only engage with a business for a brief conversation and establish a partnership to effortlessly secure millions. Yet, Li Yong truly lacks money. On one hand, he is indeed not adept at negotiating with corporate individuals and dislikes the smell of money. On the other hand, he has little desire for material wealth, preferring a simple life with 3 meals a day and a place to stay. Therefore, Li Yong genuinely does not possess 3 million. Not to say that I am implying anything. Li Yong glances at Pei Su. What do you need such a hefty sum for? 3 million is no small amount by any measure. Is Pei Su planning to indulge after the college entrance examination? Contemplating this, Li Yong becomes serious. Young Pei. As someone who has been through this, I must share something with you. Never, under any circumstances, should you indulge when you ought to be improving yourself. Nor should you seek to enhance yourself when the time calls for indulgence. Pei Su looks utterly baffled. What do you mean? Seeing that Pei Su seems not to comprehend his words, Li Yong decides to be more explicit. Your situation is rather unique. Your father is in trade, your mother, my younger sister, is in business, and your cousins are elites in the scientific field. I, your uncle, am an academician at Lonka Institute. In such a family, it is indeed possible for you to live quite comfortably. However, I hope you do not follow the path of the wealthy second generation, engaging in nefarious activities and constantly demanding money from your family to squander. Do you understand my point? Li Yong ponders for a moment and adds, places like bars, nightclubs, and businesses, your uncle does not wish for you to enter such environments. Do you grasp my meaning? Upon hearing this, Pei Su is both amused and bewildered. Uncle, what are you saying? Li Yong pauses. Are you not seeking money to go out and have fun? 3 million is quite a sum. Li Yong considers that a high school student suddenly asking for such an amount can only be related to leisure activities, right? No. Pei Su shakes his head earnestly. I plan to use this summer break to create a scale model of the 8th generation aircraft. But indeed, I lack funds. Which is why I came to you. Li Yong's mouth drops open in astonishment. After a moment's hesitation, he pats Pei Su on the shoulder and earnestly advises him. Perhaps you should just go out and enjoy yourself. I still have 100,000 in my bank account. You may take that to spend. There is a saying, it is not fear of the wealthy second generation squandering, but rather the fear of them undertaking grand projects. Pei Su, intending to craft a model of the 8th generation aircraft during the summer break? Even if it is merely a scale replica, that is an utterly unrealistic endeavor. Creating a scale model requires an immense amount of funding. 3 million? To create a scale model of the 8th generation aircraft? That is quite impractical. Pei Su purses his lips. If you want to give me money, I will earn it myself. Li Yong chuckles, giving Pei Su a playful pat on the head. I do not believe you can produce a scale model in such a short time. Even if you compress funds and processes, it would still take at least 1 million to create a subpar model. But how do you plan on earning at least 1 million in just over 2 months? Just then, someone knocks on the door of Li Yong's office. He pauses, then goes to answer it. Standing outside is a slender young man wearing glasses and dressed in high-end clothing, exuding an air of affluence, like a wealthy second generation. Upon seeing this young man, Li Yong immediately feels a headache coming on. Xiaohua, why are you here again? I have told you that I will not modify your car. As the young man named Xiaohua enters, he immediately clings to Li Yong's leg. Academician Li, according to my investigation, you are currently the only one in the country with the technology to modify cars. My demands are quite modest. Only you can fulfill them. I am willing to pay 3,100,000 more than last time. Is that acceptable? Li Yong sighs. It is futile. Moreover, are your requests even reasonable for a normal person? Li Yong counts off on his fingers. First, you want your tires to be bulletproof. Second, you require the safety of your vehicle to meet the standards of a 4th-generation military defense vehicle. Third, you wish to modify the engine of your Ferrari to achieve temporary low-altitude flight capabilities. Fourth, you want the speed of that Ferrari to exceed 480 kilometers per hour. No one can accomplish all 4 of these simultaneously. Xiaohua looks disappointed. Li Yong is exasperated. But Pei Su's eyes are as bright as stars. What a perfect opportunity. 3 million. Just right for me to apply my existing technology. If I help Xiaohua modify his car, I can earn 3 million in research funds, allowing me to create a scale model of the 8th generation aircraft. The subsequent conversation becomes a blur to Pei Su,